My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. This is the voice of Friedrich Nietzsche, and this quote from his work Ex Homo is not just a philosophical suggestion, it is a weapon. It is his ultimate solution to the greatest crisis of the modern world, nihilism. Nietzsche diagnosed the illness of our time. He called it the death of God. He meant that all our old absolute truths, the systems that gave us meaning, morality, and purpose, were crumbling. We have been left in a cold, vast universe that seems silent, chaotic, and utterly indifferent to our existence. We search for a grand purpose, and we find a void. This void creates the central problem of our lives. Most people live in a state of quiet poison. Nietzsche had a special term for it, borrowed from French. Resentment. It is more than just resentment. It is a deep, acidic bitterness. It is the venom of the weak. It is the constant, nagging whisper of, if only I had a different past. If only I were richer, smarter, or better looking. If only the world weren't so unfair. We live our lives in a state of negotiation with reality. We curse our past for our failures, and we place all our hope in a fantasy future that will magically save us. We tolerate the present moment. We endure it, but we do not affirm it. This is where Nietzsche offers his formula, Amor Fati, the love of fate. This is not passive acceptance. It is not shrugging your shoulders and dealing with it. It is an active, passionate, burning love for everything that happens to you. The good, the bad, the tragic, the ecstatic, and the mundane. It is the ability to look at the total, unedited tapestry of your existence. Every failure, every heartbreak, every victory, every boring Tuesday, and embrace it as if you yourself had willed it to happen exactly as it did. This is the supreme power. It is not the power to change the world. It is the power to change your relationship to the world. It is the strength to look at your entire life without editing a single second and say with all the conviction of your soul, yes, again. The paradox is immediate. The theory is beautiful. Love what happens. But the practice? It feels impossible. Our first, most basic human instinct is to judge. The moment something happens, we label it. This is good. This is bad. We instinctively recoil from pain. We complain about the traffic. We curse the weather. We mourn our losses. We are addicts of comfort. And we view suffering as an error, a sign that something in the universe has gone terribly wrong. Why is this our default state? Nietzsche's explanation is that the human mind, in its current form, is weak. It evolved to seek comfort, predictability, and survival. It did not evolve to love the hard, necessary truth of destiny. Because we cannot cope with the inevitable suffering of this world, we invent other worlds. This is one of Nietzsche's most profound insights. We create heavens, paradises, and utopias. We create idealized, perfect lives on social media. We create political ideologies that promise a perfect world tomorrow. These are all mechanisms of escape. By placing all our value in a true world somewhere else, we automatically devalue this world, the only one we actually have. We look at the concrete reality of our lives and find it lacking. We poison ourselves with resentment, blaming the world for our pain, judging it as inferior to the fantasy we've created in our heads. The key to transformation, the key to true greatness, is to shatter this programming, It is to stop judging life and start affirming it unconditionally. This isn't about ignoring pain. It is about understanding on the deepest possible level that the pain was necessary. But this demands a terrible price. It requires a strength that few possess. It demands that you abandon the comforting fantasy that your life could have been different. It means giving up the poison of if only. It means loving the life that is, not the life you wished you had. Let us be absolutely clear, because this is the most common and dangerous mistake. People here love your fate, and they think it means passive resignation. They confuse it with a caricature of stoicism, enduring hardship with a stiff upper lip, gritting your teeth and bearing it. This is not what Nietzsche meant. Nietzsche did not want you to just endure the struggle. He believed that life should not be easy. The struggle, the tension, the resistance, the suffering, these are essential for growth. They are the conditions for greatness. Amor Fati is not about avoiding the abyss. It is about loving the fact that the abyss is a necessary part of the landscape. The difference is profound. Resignation says, I must endure this because I have no choice. This is the philosophy of the slave. Amor Fati says, I want this. I choose this. If this event, this pain, this failure had not happened, I would not be who I am. Therefore, I will it. This is where Nietzsche introduces his most powerful and terrifying thought experiment. He calls it the eternal return. He first presents this idea in his book, The Gay Science. He asks you to imagine that a demon creeps into your loneliest loneliness and says to you, this life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it. But every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence. He asks, what would you do? Would you throw yourself down, gnash your teeth, and curse the demon? Or would you have a different answer? Could you look at this demon and say, you are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine. This is the ultimate test. The eternal return is a paralyzing, soul-crushing horror for the weak, for the person filled with resentment, regret, and the belief that life is unfair. But for the one who practices Amor Fati, for the strong spirit, it is the ultimate blessing to live this life exactly as it is, with all its agony and all its ecstasy, forever, yes. If this path is so powerful, why does almost no one achieve it? Why do we remain trapped in resentment? Because we are surrounded by enemies. The greatest enemy is not external, it is internal. Nietzsche calls it the spirit of revenge. This is our deep-seated resentment against time itself. It is the mind's fury at the fact that it cannot change the past. It is the poison of the word, it was. We are poisoned by three weapons of this spirit. Regret, the burning desire to change the past, the if only that eats us alive. Guilt, the desire to judge the past, the I should not have, that paralyzes us. Hope, this is the most subtle and insidious enemy. We use a fantasy of the future as an escape from the present. We tell ourselves, I will be happy when, I will find meaning when. This is just as much a rejection of life as regret is. The external world then reinforces this internal weakness. We live in a culture of escape. This culture attacks us in two ways. First, with pity. People see you suffer, and they validate your weakness. They call you a victim. They say, You poor thing. This shouldn't have happened to you. They encourage your resentment because it makes them feel strong. Second, the world attacks you with distractions. The modern world is an engine of alienation. Instant entertainment, endless social media, cheap comforts, drugs, and ideologies all are designed to keep you comfortably numb. They are designed to distract you from the profound, terrifying, and beautiful reality of your own existence. The choice is inevitable. You either conquer this spirit of revenge and love your destiny, or you will be poisoned by it. How do we build this superhuman strength? Amor Fati is not a sudden enlightenment. It is not a magical revelation. It is a muscle. It is a process. It is built in the silent affirmations of every single day. We make the mistake of focusing on the big tragedies. How can I love the death of a loved one? How can I love that terrible event? You don't start there. You start with the mundane. You start with the now. What is your training ground? It is the traffic jam. It is the spilled coffee. It is the rude email. It is the moment of boredom. How do you react? Do you curse reality? Do you wish it were different? Do you complain and poison yourself with resentment? Or do you see it as necessary? Can you look at the traffic jam and affirm it as a necessary, non-negotiable part of the fabric of your day? This is the law of necessity. Every single event, or you affirm it and move closer to Amor Fati, or you reject it and sink deeper into resentment. There is no neutral ground. The great danger is the if only. It is the fantasy that you can have the good parts of your life without the bad. You cannot. You cannot separate them. The strength you have today was forged by the pain you endured yesterday. The wisdom you have was born from the mistakes you made. You cannot remove the pain without removing the strength. You cannot edit the past without destroying the present. The solution is immediate. It is to say yes to what is happening right now, not tomorrow. Now, affirm the present moment in its totality as if you had chosen it. What fuels this radical transformation? What gives a human being the strength to say yes to the eternal return? It is not happiness. It is not comfort. The true fuel for Amor Fati is suffering. This is the core of the philosophy. In Twilight of the Idols, Nietzsche gives us the key. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. For most people, the why is something external. A job, a family, a god. For Nietzsche, the ultimate why is the affirmation of life itself. The why is the will to say yes. We are taught that suffering is an error, an interruption, a sign to stop. Nietzsche argues that suffering is an ingredient. It is essential. The highest joy, the most profound meaning, can only be born from the deepest suffering. A life without pain is a shallow, trivial life. The moment of pain is the moment of choice. The weak person uses suffering as evidence. Evidence that life is unfair. Evidence that the world is wrong. Evidence that they are a victim. The strong person, the Übermensch or Overman, uses suffering as a chisel. They see it as the necessary resistance that sculpts them into who they are. They do not tolerate the pain. They love the pain because it was necessary for their creation. You must learn to love your fate, not despite the suffering, but because of it. The suffering is what gives life its depth, its tension, and its ultimate, terrible value. This is not a one-time decision. You do not simply achieve Amor Fati and then rest. It is a lifelong practice. The evolution happens through relentless repetition. Every time you consciously choose to affirm an event instead of resenting it, you're rewiring your mind. You're forging a new soul. The ultimate goal is to transform Amor Fati from a difficult, conscious choice into an instinct. It is to make your default, automatic reaction to any event, good or bad, a simple, powerful yes. It must become part of your nature. How? You do this through a daily practice of reinterpretation. You must learn to see every obstacle not as a blockage on your path, but as the path itself. The obstacle is the way. The struggle is the meaning, and you must remain alert. You can never rest. Resentment is always waiting. The spirit of revenge is patient. The moment you stop actively affirming your life, you begin to weaken. You must seek constant self-overcoming. The method is this. First, stop judging facts. They simply are. The event itself is neutral. Your judgment is the poison. Second, see everything as necessary. Every single detail of your past was required to make you who you are in this exact moment. Third, love what is necessary. This is the final, divine step. To not just accept, but to will it, to want it. Knowing all of this means nothing. Understanding the concept of Amor Fati is a useless intellectual exercise. The test is not in your mind. The test is in your life. The test is now. You have an ultimate choice. You can either choose this transformation, step into your own power, and become the creator of your own meaning by affirming your life in its totality, or you can accept your fate as just one more, another face in the resentful crowd, living in the gray twilight of if only, cursing the world for your own weakness. So I ask you the final question. Are you ready for the eternal return? Look at your life. Look at your day today. Would you say yes to living this day exactly as it is, with all its frustrations and joys, forever? Will you continue to live in the poison of if only? Or will you find the strength to do something today, now, to affirm what is? Do not wish for anything to be different. Not forward, not backward. Love your fate